So if you read the PDF, Solfege and Scale Degree Basics, hopefully you understand what I've written, but I'm gonna go through it briefly here so you really get a sense of everything. Basically, it's about learning how music is constructed. And to learn anything, you need to have some sort of ground level, right? Some sort of measuring stick. And the measuring stick for music, somebody decided, was to be the major scale. So if I play a C major scale, the key doesn't really matter, but let's do it in C. That would be this. Then you number the notes from low to high. So C would be 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7. Then you're back to the 1 again, or the octave. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright? So now we know that's the baseline. So now it makes more sense when you see something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, because you can't really flat something if you don't really know what the regular one is. And when you see any type of flat or raised note, it's always going to be a half step if it's not, says something otherwise. So if we take the scale again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we flat that 7, we get the flat 7 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and 1. And that just gives us the C Mixolydian scale. Again, if we keep that flat 7 and we also flat the 3, so you go 1, 2, 3 and flat that. So you got 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and then 1. That gives us a Dorian scale. And so on. Alright? And if you look at the chart again, you can see that it's laid out on one string, the A string, from the C here up to the C up here. And it just goes through all the scale degrees chromatically, just moving one fret at a time. And when we go from low to high, we keep raising each note. So we got 1, we get the sharp 1, 2, sharp 2, 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, sharp 5, 6, sharp 6, 7, and then 1. And then when we go the other way, we flat everything. We go 1, 7, flat 7, 6, flat 6, 5, flat 5, 4, 3, flat 3, 2, flat 2, and then 1. Alright? And that's basically it. And from there, from this chart alone, you can construct any scale that you want. Alright? And a scale is just a formula, it's just a collection of these notes. So, like I just showed you, the Mixolydian scale was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and then the Dorian scale was 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and so on. But we're gonna focus on the minor pentatonic right now, but I want you to see the big picture here, so that's why I included this. And this brings us to solfege, and solfege is just the same thing as the numbers, the scale degrees, but it's just a way easier way to actually sing them. And then you'll be like, well, why do I want to sing them? Well, you want to sing them because that's the way to really get them into your ear and be able to hear the stuff, which is the most important thing of all. All right? And yeah, you're gonna sound like a dork when you do this, and I'm gonna keep the singing to as little as possible here, so I don't, kill your ears. I'm not a singer by any stretch of the imagination, but I do sing a lot for ear training purposes. But the whole thing, though, it doesn't really matter how your voice sounds. It's a matter of hitting the notes as closely as you can, so you really nail the actual sound here. So the corresponding solfege syllables then for this chromatic thing would be Do, D, Re, Re, Mi, Fa, Fi, So, Si, La, Li, Ti, and then Do. And then descending, Do, Ti, Te, La, Le, So, Se, Fa, Mi, Me, Re, and then Ra, and then Do. And bit about the pronunciation here. When you see let's say May, for example, M-E, it would be easy to see like, well, shouldn't that be pronounced me, right? Because that's the way you should pronounce it when you read it in English. And this is not some weird Swedish mistranslation. This is actually the way they do it at Berkeley and all over the world. And the reason for that is that me is already taken from the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. So the way around that would be that whenever you see something, whenever you have a syllable that has an E as the ending, so you have M-E, which is, May. So basically, you're gonna pronounce every syllable that ends with an E is gonna be pronounced with AY at the end. So like a pirate. So you would go May, for example, or if you lower the la, you would get lay. L-E is lay. And if you lower so, that would be say, even though it's spelled S-E, and so on. And another thing that you might have noticed is that, well, for one, is that it's very consistent. So whenever you lower a syllable, you actually end that with an E, so you get that AY sound. But also, when you raise the syllable, you actually use an I. So you have ray, a raised ray would be re, a raised fa would be fi, and so on. So it's very consistent in that way. Except in one place, and that's when you lower ray, you already have an E in the regular syllable. The regular 2 is already ray. So the way around that, they call a lowered second degree ray would be ra instead of ra. That's just one extra thing you need to remember, but otherwise it's very consistent. So when we get to the minor pentatonic then, the formula for that will be 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. Alright? So that would be, we're gonna do this from A now, actually. So we're gonna have 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and then 1. So the solfege for that would be do, me, fa, so, te, and then do again. All right. And again, why is it easier to use solfege for singing? Well, just listen to this. What's easier, do you think, to sing 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and then 1? The problem, obviously, hopefully, is that you get more syllables. You have 1, that's fine. 4, 5 is fine. But flat 3, that's not so fine. And flat 7 is definitely not fine. So it becomes very inconsistent rhythmically when you try to do this. But whereas with solfege, it's only one syllable all the time. So you got do, me, fa, so, te instead. So hopefully this clears everything up with the scale degrees and the solfege. You understand what's actually written on the chart, because that's really the key to really understanding the scale. And I'm gonna go into what you can do for the ear training part for this minor pentatonic thing as well in the next video. But for now, check the chart out and try out the different formulas and try to see if you understand this stuff, and then post any questions you want answered below, and I'll try to help you out as quickly as possible.